Can you guys see the presentation?
Absolutely.
Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Selena Liu, and for my Junior Leadership Venture project, I started a handmade jewelry business called Beautifully Wired. So to introduce, Beautifully Wired is my handmade jewelry business in which I sold earrings, bracelets, and most popular rings. I've never actually made jewelry prior to this, but I do love hands-on projects and I was very interested to learn. And so I did some research and watched some YouTube videos and see what I can get inspiration from. From the start, I had the goal that if I was able to make profit, I would donate 25% of my profits to the Princeton Nursery School in Princeton. I chose the Princeton Nursery School because during my freshman year, I had the opportunity to volunteer there with my basketball team and as well as during my spring break. And I adored the children and loved spending time with them. And so I really wanted to give back to the community, especially during these hard times in the pandemic. So when I first established my business, I needed to learn a lot of things, whether it was from making the actual jewelry to advertising to pricing and to how to basically receive payments during COVID times. So the first things I did was I did some research on jewelry wire as they came in different sizes and different wire material. And because I wanted all my customers to be able to wear them for the long term, my wires are actually hypoallergenic and they're tarnish free. And since hands-on art comes naturally to me, I wanted to look for a mentor who could help me with the business slash advertising slash social media aspect of my project. And I was very lucky to have Miss Morris agree to help me. Initially, I was advertising my business through my personal social media account, but Miss Morris had advised me to start a new Instagram account just for my business and so that it would open to a larger range of customers and so that they would also be able to see my products more clearly in each post rather than just like on my personal story. Also, Miss Morris was able to help me connect with Miss Ellen Malosky, who is a marketing communications consultant based in Princeton. And when I interviewed her, she said that on a daily basis, she does content development, public relations, community engagement, media buying, social media strategy, and more. And from my interview, I've learned from Ms. Malosky that it is important for, whether it's for marketing or small businesses, it's important for each of her clients to find their voice and to know who they are and what message they want to bring to customers. And furthermore, during our interview, we discussed that at one point my business was slowly declining, and that she recommended me to have brand ambassadors, which I would give free items, and they would take pictures and advertise for me. So shout out to Angela for helping me out and taking these wonderful pictures, which are on the next slide. And in addition, throughout my research, I also contacted two of my friends who are also in high school who own their own small business, and they shared their insights and suggestions with me and basically to learn how to promote my products. And so when I first began my business, I had set three main goals in place that define success. Success to me at the beginning meant that I was going to be able to make enough money to pay back the supply money, to be able to sell a minimum of 15 pairs of jewelry, and also to make some profit that I would be able to donate to the Princeton Nursery School. And I had to set the goal. I set the goal of a minimum at $50. So exceeding my expectations, I was actually able to pay off my $93 supply cost. I sold a total of 34 pieces of jewelry, 29 sets of rings, and 5 bracelets, and was actually able to donate $75 to the Princeton Nursery School and have a personal profit of $165. So as you can see, those two pictures are actually taken by Angela. Okay, so in order to keep myself organized, I made a Google spreadsheet. And at the bottom right corner, you can see that that is all the calculated donations, personal profit, and how much I earned without subtracting anything. So as you can see, I've organized each order with the customer's name, the receiving / payment method, the date they ordered, the size, what they wanted. And then I have check marks that I will check off once I either made their order, received their payment, or when they receive their products. So the customers receiving their products, and having it checked off was very important to me, because since I was virtual most of the year, I had to ensure that the products I placed in the upper school office were received by the person who ordered them. And so communication was very important between my customers, um, because we had to choose a time to meet up, when I notify them that I will drop orders off. So some challenges. One major challenge I had during this junior venture project and while I was establishing my business was that there was a point in my business where the interest levels were decreasing and sales were actually decreasing, and it was not as rapid as before. So at one point around late February to March, I had reached a low point in my business where I had received 0 orders. And this concerned me because I really wanted to reach my goal that I had set for myself in the beginning. Luckily, I received advice from Miss Morris and Miss Malosky, and reached out to my close friends to be brand ambassadors, like I said before, to spread the word and to post more on social media. And by doing so, I gained more customers. And also, I began to look into other small business jewelry accounts on Instagram and to basically learn from them. And through this, I saw a trend that during holidays or celebrations such as Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day, they tend to have themed jewelry or themed sales. And so back in February, I took advantage of Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day as a chance to promote my jewelry. As you can see in the picture, the 2 heart-shaped rings were my Valentine's Day themed rings, and that drew a lot of interest from people, and that slowly helped sales go up. And another challenge I had at the beginning was basically figuring out how to receive payment and dropping off orders, since I was virtual most of this year. And so in order to make it more convenient for my customers, I offered to receive cash and or the non-contact method of payment through Venmo. And so in terms of dropping off orders, every 2 weeks I would gather a set of orders and would work out times with the customers to drop it off in the upper school office with their names labeled on the package if they were Stuart, if it was from the Stuart community. And for outside orders, I would deliver the orders to their houses and let them know when I do so. And so out of all of these challenges, I really learned that communication is key when it comes to marketing and business. And I was always open to hearing back feedback from my customers. So through this experience, I developed skills that correlated to the NCGLS leadership standards. For example, I effectively communicated and marketed products to interested customers and learned how to be persuasive. I also created an organized spreadsheet that tracked and calculated my order details and all the profit without me having to add it up manually. I also learned to analyze business data and from feedback from customers and basically analyze the trend of sold products to make better improvements. And another thing was that I also designed my own packaging, as you can see on the slide. Because I didn't have a color printer at home, nor did I have like the sticker paper. I actually learned how to make stickers to go on the packaging by using tape and parchment paper, and it was really easy. And then lastly, from listening to Miss Morris and Miss Velasky, I've also learned to differentiate between a business social media account versus a personal social media account, and how it's like structured differently, the formatting and all the language that is used, and it's all different. And how I learned that how I can run Beautifully Wired's account more appropriately and to attract more interested customers. So the NCGLS leadership standards were values, intellect, agency, collaboration, and vision are all shown through my venture process, starting from my strategic plan to start the business, to researching the materials, to working with my mentors to interview a local expert, and to selling my products. Overall, through all of this, I have gained insights into the marketing and business field and how to adapt my small business in the midst of a pandemic. So before I end, I would like to give special thanks to Ms. Morris for being my mentor throughout this process and giving me advice and taking those really pretty pictures on the first slide. And even though she's not here, I would still like to thank Miss Malasky for taking her time to have a conversation with me and for me to be able to gain more insights on marketing and social media. And then I would also like to thank Angela for agreeing to be my brand ambassador and taking all those photos in the previous slides. And lastly, I would like to thank all of Stuart faculty and upper school students who supported my small business and contributed to the donations to Princeton Nursery School. So thank you. Any questions?
Selena, this is fantastic. I can't believe how this evolved over time. Like in the conversations that you and I had several months ago, and what this turned out to be, it really is a testament to your tenacity to keep going, to keep growing. You blew those goals out of the water. I specifically want to congratulate you. Not that there is not benefit from how all of the students are learning, but some students had to learn the lesson of having goals that were maybe initially really, really big and having to scale them back. And that's kind of a theme that we've heard today is readjusting your goals. And I thought in the beginning you had very reasonable goals, and as a result, you sort of surpassed them. Can you talk a little bit about, because it seems like that was a skill that you had from the very beginning, was assessing what you thought you were capable of doing, and as a result, you were able to go beyond your expectations. How did you get that right? How did you think about the goals in the beginning to get something that you were able to achieve without having to scale back?
So I had never had experience with the business aspect or the field, and so but I do know that I don't know. I just didn't want, because I know it's hard to run a business, especially when I don't have outside connection, and it's like jewelry wire. Like I didn't expect a lot of people to be interested in like jewelry wire or anything like that, and so I started with, I guess I like had the feeling of like doubt in the beginning, and so I just set my goals, I guess, based on my doubt. But it turned out like exceeding my expectations, that it was going so well, and a lot of people were interested.
Well, and I think it's so smart. Like you're calling it doubt, and I know where that's coming from. It's coming from that, like, oh well, but it's also you still wanted to execute this project, even not being sure sort of what the interest level would be. And then you were able to grow, beyond that, which is a testament, first of all, to your design. I think part of the reason that you had levels of success is that your products are beautiful.
Thank you.
And people really liked them. And I feel like they had a natural audience because of that. And, you talked a lot about the business end of this, which I'm sure is from like your angle on this was to create your own business. Can you talk a little bit more about the jewelry design process? Like how did you decide what kind of pieces to do? How did you grow in your talent for making the pieces?
So at the beginning, I initially wanted to do earrings, but then I slowly adapted to rings because a lot of people had more interest in rings and bracelets, and so I started to, I guess, research more into rings and bracelets, and basically having a wider variety made more people more interested. And so I have no clue how to make rings in the beginning. And so YouTube videos and tutorials helped a lot. And so basically based on those, I watched some videos and I learned, and it took like a lot of practice in the beginning to get the wires and going in the right directions and stuff. And so it took me a couple of tries. Like I still have my like trial and error ones in this like little in my room, and then I have the better ones on a separate place to sell. But it definitely took a lot of practice doing it. Yeah.
Dr. Fagan, go ahead. Oop, you're muted.
Hi, I was just wondering if you found you had any repeat sales, like after you sold one, did you sell more?
Yeah, like after some of my friends, like they wore them to school, and then like some teachers, like Miss Gibson also bought one because someone in the health class bought one, and then she was interested. It was like once students like saw the rings, like it was like a domino effect kind of thing where like people started to get more interested because people were wearing them in school.
But did you find that the same person bought another ring?
That's, oh, yeah. Like they would buy one or two in the beginning to see if they liked it, and then once they really liked it, they came back and asked if I had more, and I was like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
So Selena, you talked a little bit about how you had slower times in your business and what you did to remediate that. First of all, that just shows a lot of persistence and grit right there, that you didn't just say, okay, well, I guess it's dying. It was like, oh, it's dying. What can I do? So first of all, that's an awesome lesson. Did you ever have demand begin to exceed your ability to produce at the busy times?
Yes. If you going back to like my data chart where I had all the names and stuff, for the month of January when I first came out with all the rings, it was like 5 orders a day or like 6-7 orders in a week, and then I had schoolwork and I had stuff to do, but then I also had orders coming in, so that was like really busy. But then I was able to manage my time and set a time in the day where I would specifically work on those orders. And then I would also set a deadline because I had to make sure people weren't waiting too long, and I had to get them into school. And so I set a deadline for myself. And so that really helped me to organize my time and then get the orders to the people, to the customers on time.
Would you say that you started this project because you wanted to make jewelry and that seemed like a good business, or because you wanted to run a business and making jewelry seemed to be something that you could do?
I wanted to start a business, but I also I didn't know what I wanted to do with the business, but I knew that I had an interest in art and doing like hands-on projects, and I really loved that aspect of it. And personally, I liked wearing rings and jewelry on my hands, so I thought it would be cool to like put those two interests together and like do a project on that.
So, go ahead, Miss Solomon.
Selena, I have a question about your dexterity with wire wrapping. Had you ever done wire wrapping before, or did you learn how to do it for this project?
No,
I know it's not an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm. No, I actually learned just for this specific project. I've never actually like handled wire before.
Oh, that's impressive. Thank you.
So Selena, as you know, Huddle Cart 29 has raised her hand. Go ahead.
Hi, Selena. It's me, Sarah. What was the inspiration for like the jewelry you made? Where did you get that inspiration? And like, did you try to make it your own, or like, did you try to kind of like replicate it?
In the beginning, I tried to, I guess, design my own designs, but I drew like sketches and stuff. But it was like the more complicated I tried it made things complicated. But I guess scrolling through like images on Google or watching YouTube videos really helped, because I had no prior experience to this. So watching other people do it online really like helped me, and it gave me inspiration to do to make the rings or jewelry I wanted to make.
So next year, you will be a mentor to the junior venture projects this year. But before you get that opportunity, I want you to imagine sort of like mentoring yourself, or anybody who's sort of starting a business from the very beginning. If you were going to start over knowing what you know now, or if you were mentoring somebody who was about to start their own business, can you think of sort of starting out advice that you might give?
One starting out advice I would give is to not be afraid to take the risk. So like, especially when you're starting a business, like you need money to start it and to like buy the supplies and everything. And I would say like, don't be afraid to spend the money and buy what you need to make your business more, sorry, someone's like mowing their lawn outside, but to make your business more like that, to make it better. And so I think take the risk and do not be afraid to start it, because like you'll never know, like my business exceeded my expectations and everything will work out.
Can I ask who your initial investor was, Selena? Was it you or was it somebody else?
I borrowed my money from my mom, and I promised her I would, like, once I get the profit, the first thing I would do is pay off the supply money. And so I made a promise with my mom with that, and I paid it off.
That's the best an investor can ask for.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this project was a phenomenal success, not only because your business was successful, but because your product is beautiful. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity when we can blend business and art. In fact, I was talking to a sophomore just today who's planning her venture project about how she might do a project that has an intersection of business and art. And I think that the artisan work, as Ms. Solomon was talking about, was beautiful, and that's why you were successful. You have to have a product that people want to buy, and yours was beautiful. And then just the amount of business experience that you gained, and that you reached out for help, you reached out for support, and took the advice that you were given is a testament to your wisdom as well. Do you have anything else that you would want to add?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yes. Does anybody else have any other questions? I see the comment. Yes, your jewelry is beautiful. Are you gonna? Oh, I have a question. Are you going to continue, or has your business, served its purpose?
If more people would like to buy or interested, I would be willing to make more, because it's fun making the jewelry and everything. So I'm open to keeping it open.
Yeah, I think you should. I gifted one of your rings to someone, so I would be interested. And you're right. I definitely think about those things. In the case of the student entrepreneurs that I was working with, what I thought about more so than did I want something was, could I gift something? And targeting those times when gifts are required is a great business strategy for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I am absolutely going to need business mentors moving forward. And so be prepared for me to reach out to you to be a mentor for our business students. But I'm also telling our juniors that are presenting today that we're in this virtual setting this year. I'm hoping that next year, when our juniors present, we'll be in an in-person setting. And I'm going to invite the seniors who might want to present in person again. So if you do make progress on this, and you don't have to, you've met your requirements, but if you do, next year we'll have an opportunity for you to catch us up on the progress of your project. Okay?
Sounds good.
Well, this was wonderful, Selena. And for those of you who are in listening to our presentations, we have our next one up at 1:00. So I'll go off camera for a little bit, and we'll see you back at 1:00. Thanks, Selena.
Thank you.